Hello all, this is a short demo video on how to use Google Colab to run Python code. I made this video because some of you were having difficulties with installing Python and other libraries on your local devices. I hope that you can quickly get started with coding in Python using Colab. Get to the juicier parts instead of banging your head on weird installations and dependencies. Um, Here's the table of contents. I'll give a brief overview of what Colab environment is, um, and some code examples. Since most of you are just starting with Python, it's completely fine if you do not understand the code yet. I just want to give a flavor of how typical coding tasks look like. Next, I will explain how to access Google Drive files in Colab, in particular, how to work with Google Sheet CSVs such as quiz engine result data. Um, Then I'll walk you through libraries such as Pandas that are immensely useful in processing CSV files. Um, Finally, I'll end with a simple plotting example and how ChatGPT can chime in to help your coding workflow. At the end of the video, you will be able to make graphs that you can see on the right side of the screen. Um, so let's open Colab. Ensure that you are using the Avanti Fellows account. Click New Notebook. Please use the video at 1.5x if it is too slow. Click Connect. Uh, Connect basically connects you to a compute resource of Google. Give it time. So as you can see, Google has assigned system RAM and some disk storage space to this environment. Um, So Colab effectively it's like a mini computer of sorts. Whatever coding we do on our local computer, we can do it most likely on Colab too. We can try simple examples. So let me try 2 plus 3. You might have done these examples in your Python programming course so far. You might have also seen variables. So let me just try defining some variables. X is equal to 2, y equal to 10, z equal to x times y, print c. You have to press shift enter to get the output. You might have also seen Jupyter Notebook, so Colab is very much equivalent to a Jupyter Notebook, except it has some more additional features. Um, so yeah, these are some examples. Let's probably try another example, this time with strings and something that's more useful. Recently, there was some concern about student IDs in Punjab. They were supposed to be 10 digits instead of 8. Um, let's say that we have an array of student IDs with 8 digits. So let's say student ID is equal to 202310, 202311, and 202312. Um, Sorry, these are 6 digits. Let me add a few more digits. 10, 11, 12. Okay, so these are like student IDs with 8 digits. Now I want to increase it to 10 digits. Um, One way is to just add two zeros to the end of each student ID. So let's create an empty updated student ID array. Um, so it's empty right now. We haven't done any computation. So the computation that we do is we go through each student ID. So this is called an iteration or looping in Python. We go through each student ID and create a new ID by adding two zeros. So this is equivalent to doing something like plus 00, and it gives us 2023101000. And now that the new ID is created in this line, we add it to the updated student IDs array using append keyword. Again, if you don't know these words like append and array, it's completely fine. um, So yeah, now you have these 10-digit IDs created. Obviously, this small code snippet in itself won't solve Punjab student ID issue. We need a list of all student IDs and not just 3 student IDs as shown here. And we also need to write the updated IDs back to the database and many other steps. But the snippet here is definitely a core logic of the solution. Um, yeah. So you could run code like this and all other forms of Python code within Colab. Let's try a more involved example. So here I have a CSV of Uttarakhand student results of the 15 December test. User IDs are phone numbers which are shuffled for privacy. We have num skip, number of correct answers, number of wrong answers, and marks scored as the columns. The actual data contains many more columns, but these 4 or 5 columns are sufficient for our example as of now. Um, so the question is, how do we load this data into Colab and do some computations? Let's try uploading. You can click here and you can click on upload, um, and you can choose this file. But Colab shows a warning. Ensure that your files are saved elsewhere. This runtime's files will be deleted when the runtime is terminated. So what this means briefly is that if you close this tab, if you click close, the file that you have just uploaded will not persist anymore. This is fine for demo purposes, but when we are doing more complex and longer computations, we'd want the file to stay for a while, which is why uploading the data to Google Drive helps, and then mounting Google Drive to Colab completes the loop. So let's instead try mounting Google Drive and uploading there. Um, so you need to provide permission the first time you click on Mount Drive. Yeah, Google Drive is mounted now. Um, so this is at least the data on my Avanti Fellows Google Drive. Let me just upload the file here. Let's see, upload. So yeah, now this file is uploaded, Uttarakhand test results, and it will persist even if you close this window, the data will still persist on your Google Drive. Let me just see if that is the case. um, so yeah, you can see that Uttarakhand test results is also added to my Google Drive. Not just this file being uploaded, but the all other data on your Google Drive, whether it's docs or other Google Sheets, can be accessed in Colab now. um, so let's look at what computations we can make use on this data. um, For this, we use a famous library called Pandas. Crudely, libraries contain frequently, repeatedly used code snippets, like the one we just used here. This is a small code snippet, um, and maybe this is not something that is used by programmers everywhere in the world. Maybe not everyone cares about 8 digits or 10 digits, but there are certain actions and certain code snippets that every programmer cares about. So all of them are collected together in a library and kept at one place, which we can kind of import. And these libraries, they are written and maintained by smart people. They're often open source. And actually, this is the main differentiator of Python language. It's the vast number of easily accessible libraries. Um, and what makes Colab really useful is that several libraries come pre-installed in this environment. So you need not bother about installing them as such. So for example, if if in my local computer, the way to import an environment is, this is how you do it: import pandas as pd, and it says no module name pandas. I don't have that library. I'd actually have to spend, let's say, some 5 or 10 minutes figuring out how to install this library, the various dependencies, versioning, and so on and so forth, which is all of which is cumbersome. This very same thing I can do quite quickly and seamlessly in Colab. uh, and it just works, right? It has been imported. You can see a tick symbol, so we can just use the library directly. So yeah, let's try some computations. We could compute the highest score, for example. So first, let's read the CSV. pd.read CSV. You can copy the path. Um, let's put this in. Let's call it UK results. Let's call it, this is a variable UK results. You can see the content of this variables using dot head. Um, so there's user ID, numscape, numcorrect. You can also see the shape of this CSV. So there are 6 columns. So there's this additional column that comes up because of pandas, um, and there and there is there are 42 students who have given this test. Um, so if you want to figure out the highest score, all we need to do is say UK results marks scored dot max. It works. So 235 is the highest score in this test. Let's say we care about who got the highest score. So first we figure out what is the row that corresponds to the highest score. Row with highest score equal to UK results marks code dot idx max. Um, and we print the row. I think it's dot lock row with highest. So I'm supposed to use square bracket. Sorry about that. Yeah, as you can see, it's this user ID with 59 correct and one wrong, and with the score 235. Um, we could do many other computations. For example, we can figure out what is the um, average number of correct answers that the students got, and it's 29.5. So on average, students got 29.5 questions correct in this test. um, so that's it. I mean, there are various other computations that you can do, that you will learn eventually in the course, but I just want to show how easy it is to bring things to Colab and to just quickly compute things as you require. um, Okay, before closing, I just want to give an overview of ChatGPT. Let's say we care about plotting a histogram of marks code, rather, let's make ChatGPT do it for us. You can access this at chat.openai.com. You can log in with your Avanti Fellows credentials, um, create a new chat. So let me just show the create a new chat. Um, so the idea of writing a message or a prompt is that you need to be as descriptive as possible and be as specific as possible as to what you want as output. Um, this is the basic guideline. Be very clear, be very direct, and mention what you are looking for. So here's the prompt that I will try. Um, I have a Pandas CSV with the following columns. Let me copy the columns. Uh, Note that it really doesn't matter what spacing you used, or whether you use a capital letter or small letter, or whether the grammar is good or bad. What matters is the entire gist of your message. Um, I want to plot a histogram bar chart of marks code using Seaborn. Seaborn is a library that is used for plotting. Can you give me Python code for it? Okay. So this is the output. Um, uh, Read through the entire response. Don't miss any detail. Also, don't just copy whatever code that ChatGPT has given out. Um, it may not always work, or it may contain things that we simply don't require. For example, we don't require this line because we already have the imported data. Um, so And this is something that ChatGPT also mentions in its comment, but be really careful while copying code. It's not going to work immediately. um, so first let's copy the library imports. Pandas, since we have already imported, no need to copy this. Let's copy these two lines. uh, Again, note that this import worked very seamlessly. You can see a tick symbol. The import has worked. It would not have worked in my local computer because I have not installed them. So if I try import cbond as CSNS in my local computer, it's not going to work. It's going to say no module named cbond. Gives an error. Um, so next are the plotting lines. I need not do this because I already have data. So let me copy this. Um, um, there is an error actually in the code that you're seeing. I'll give you 5 seconds to figure out what the error is. Um, yeah. Okay. So let's just run this code. It's going to throw an error. Yeah, name df is not defined. Basically, we have said data equal to df, and at no point in our code did we mention what df is. Um, so df, so the data is supposed to be UK results. So that's what I was saying. You cannot directly use ChatGPT code because um, it's you need to be more thoughtful. You need to be more careful while copying code. Read through it entirely and see what variables are being used. Um, Let me just change the title. Do I need to change the title? um, yeah, I think the X label, Y label are good. So now let me try to plot it and it should work. Yeah. We've plotted the graph. um, as you can see, the graph suggests ki some 17 students scored less than 50 marks, um, so on and so forth. You can make your analysis out of this graph, and you can plot many other fun things. Again, the idea is that ChatGPT's code, whatever the code it outputs, requires careful intervention on your part. um, the core logic might still remain the same, but you need to adjust a few things so that it works for your case. Uh, I'll share the CSV file with you all. Please try out different graphs and share on channel. It would be a fun homework exercise to try out these things. Um, so yeah, that's the end of this short video. I hope you found this useful. Happy coding.